Let's just bring you some insight now on what is moving the markets. I'm joined by Paul Ross, who's portfolio manager at Benguela Global Fund Managers. Paul, a very good afternoon to you. Thank you for your time. With Brent falling for a third straight day, as hopes, of course, of easing tensions around the Strait of Hormuz weigh on oil, how have the markets opened this morning?
I mean, this has generally been received positively by the markets. The news flow seems to be particularly around increased flow of oil through the Straits. At the moment, it's been difficult to track that actual flow because a lot of the tankers are turning off their trackers. But the news flow seems to suggest that increased oil is getting through. You also have some progress and talks between Iran and Oman as to how this will continue going forward. And then the US seems to be set on using economic force against Iran rather than military. That's seen as positive for the oil market as well. So oil lower, you've had the Asian markets traded up higher. Europe is a bit mixed, but generally positive. I'd say there's some caution in the market, and I think that's given the Nvidia results tonight, which could be market moving, as well as the announcement of inflation data, specifically PCE data out of the US later today.
As you speak about
we've got the SA
Nvidia's results,
marginally higher. No broad theme. See amongst the winners, we have the results coming out today, or at least a trading statement from Discovery.
Yeah.
And results from Corp, which I'm sure you want to touch on a bit further.
Yeah, perhaps let's start with the Nvidia results, which are being released today. How much is riding on these numbers as, of course, all eyes are essentially on the bottom line?
So on Nvidia, we've got the whole AI story revolving around what's happening there. Historically, Nvidia was a key signal for what's happening in AI. I think the signal effect is probably a little bit diminished compared to prior quarters, where it used to be a whole market moving event. It will be big for certain key players within the AI markets. I mean, the market is expecting Nvidia to release revenue up 100% and a gross profit up 106%. So a re-accelerating movement there, just underpinning the capex that is going through into these AI data centers. But more so, what the market will be looking for is exactly what's happening underneath that. Is there any sign that this might be slowing? Is there some reticence given increased pricing of memory chips? Is there some price sensitivity from the hyperscalers given that? Also, the move from training models to inference. What is the signal there between demand for GPUs, for CPUs? So this will direct a lot of capital around this AI theme. And for that reason, this is a closely watched result.
Yeah. You also touched on food service distributor Corp having delivered its latest results this morning. What are the numbers telling us about the health of consumers and businesses across the market it operates in?
Well, I would say the results themselves were solid. You had revenue up 5% and trading profit up 8.2%. That's constant currency, a little bit weaker in rand terms given the rand's strength in its second half of its year. And also it's given its diversified geographical nature. But underlying that, there was some talk of cost of living pressures. Now that's hitting more the discretionary side of its business. So I think where it sells into restaurants rather than hospitals or canteens, where there was more resilience coming through. Also geographically, you had some diversion. I mean, particular weakness out of areas like China and Australia, whereas Europe was quite a bright spot. Some particularly countries like Italy, where tourism in part helps demand there. But then also you had some good results out of LATAM and South Africa, where even though there are some macro headwinds, there are decent results coming through there. So a mixed result. This is not a crisis, but it's not a boom, and solid operations from Bidcorp.
Very well. Thank you so much for speaking to us this afternoon. We're going to have to leave it there as we wrap up that discussion, of course, with Paul Ross from Benguela, giving us a sense of some of the factors moving the markets, the cost of living pressures.